Go! Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Go Mango Tokucast. I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
The Cinder Blaze.
Alex! Welcome back!
Yeah.
'Cause you're the only other one on the show.
Yeah.
Rip Michael. No. He'll be back eventually. But on the show today, we're going to be doing a X-Aid catch-up. We're going to be taking a look at episodes 36 and 37. And man, there were some shaky things in 36, but I feel like things got better in 37.
Yeah.
So, alright, let's get into 36.
Yeah. I really like the beginning of this episode. I know I'm sorry you're like building up to like a sentence. I was just like taking too long, dude. I like the beginning of the episode because like Kronos was like kind of like announcing his whole challenge to everyone. Mm-hmm. Like at the beginning it was like, oh, we're setting a stage for something. And
man, they certainly set the stage for no one to show up. For like only 2 people to show up.
Yeah, it like
yeah.
This should be like the most popular game in the world by now, and everyone's trying to get their like loved ones back. So
everyone, I feel like it's just Japan. Like I don't know if anyone's even if any like characters even spawn outside Japan.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean by everyone in the world.
Just Japan. You know, like you said, this was a really great setup to an episode, and I would have liked to see, like, the clock ticking down until this great event, but it was stifled by all the stuff they had to shove into it. Like, we had, like, honestly, the best character I've seen on X-Aid so far, the fat guy that said, man... it's now is my time. I will defeat the bad guy. The hero always shows up late. You're darn right he does! And this guy's the hero that's gonna do it. Not only did he have, you know, the Kamen Rider Chronicle Gashat, he turned into a fat Kamen Rider, and boy howdy, didn't know that I wanted it until I had it. Man. Ooh, it's good.
Yo, those would be hilarious figures.
yeah. But so I feel like the major failings of this episode stemmed from shoehorning in Hyper Muteki. Even though it was cool, like they needed to have a scene where they set it up. They needed to have a scene where they lost it, and then a scene where they took it back. Why wasn't this like progressing over the span of a few more episodes rather than just I would have liked to see him kind of dangle it in dangle it in front of maybe even Hero's eyes to get him to perform better, more. I feel like it leads to it would have led to a lot better, I guess, suspense for the form, but since it just came back so quickly, I didn't really care.
Yeah, like that was basically it. Like the pacing for the power up kind of felt off just because it just all happened in this episode. Because I mean, it didn't all happen because I think was it like
we got a moment, like an offhand moment of Genmu building Hyper Muteki, but that's all we really got.
Yeah, like we see him like build the thing and then like show it off, kind of like foreshadowing it. But then like once it actually comes into play, it just here it is. He uses it. It doesn't work, and then
I love how Genmu basically had to make the most boring game in the universe in order to get that power up. Like, ooh, it's a game where the main character's invincible. Fine. Right? It's so fun.
Yeah,
that's what a video game is. I would have liked to see it only last for like 10 seconds. Like we have had not necessarily final forms, but like modes that only last a certain amount of time. Like Fize had his Axel form. Axel had his trial form.
Yeah.
And that only had an allotted amount of time. So, it would have been nice to see. And like, I like the speed up effect that Kamen Rider tends to do every now and then, because I feel like they're pretty good at it, especially with Drive.
Yeah. And like, invincibility in a video game usually is a temporary effect, so it would make a bit more sense.
Yeah, it made sense when Genmu used it, but then Emu got it and he's just invincible always.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
For a final form like that, especially for a main character, I feel like it has to be a more permanent thing, just because it would be too inconvenient if it wasn't anyways.
But wouldn't it be a lot more compelling? You have a time, like, there is, I feel like it can't be nerfed outside of what they did in episode 37. We'll get to that, but I feel like that also leads into, I guess technically, a weakness, but with Palad, like, he had to trick Palad into getting inside him.
Yeah, like
to use the power.
For this episode, he had combined with Palad, so he can be a Tensei Gamer M, which I don't know why he needs to be a genius gamer to activate a new form. It just, like, where's the brain power needed to transform into the next form? I don't see it. Like, maybe he needs, like, the Bugster as well as his human part. Like, if they kind of lean more towards that, then maybe it would make more sense. But just, nah, he needs to be really smart or something.
No, I mean, that all gets thrown out the window in the next episode. But what did you think about, at least, like, the setup of it? Like, them teaming up, having to team up. Which, again, had they not shoved it into this episode, it would have made for a great, just episode early on. Or, like, not early on, but, like, before this,
I mean, it didn't take too much time, and I feel like if they expanded this and gave it its own episode, it would probably drag and not be that good. So,
oh really?
Yeah, like, well, I feel like if they did that now, then it just wouldn't fit. Like, it would actually make the pacing a bit worse, because then it would be taking like too long.
Like, I certainly like the idea. Don't get me wrong. Like, using, like, it's because Emu actually took an active role in trying to stop, like, doing something that's slightly more gray area than his normal, like, just, pure white hero doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he had to sort of dip into his evil side to make sure things went in his favor. He took a risk, and that's what I like.
It forced Emu to interact with a character that he doesn't like, and that's just...
And his I guess his morals were challenged, and he came out with a good answer to his dilemma. You, like a virus, you have to sometimes use some of it in order to get rid of it, right? In order to build an immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I like that aspect of it, but there's something about it that didn't play well, and obviously it just doesn't play well for the rest of the show, because in the next episode, I think we could just move on to it.
No, we have two things to cover on this episode.
Oh, right. How could I forget?
Huge plot twist where...
tell me.
Where Laser ends up being on the good guy's side, because he was lying the entire time.
What? You're telling me that Laser was a good guy the whole time? Boy, howdy, what a twist.
if like we all knew that he was on the good guy's side, we just needed a good reason why he was pretending to be on the enemy side. But it was to get the proto Geshats, which I mean, it kind of works. I just wish there was like a stronger like.
Does it though? I feel like because like they encrypted it the next, or no, they didn't. Like they tried to.
No, for episode 36, we didn't know that it was encrypted or anything.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
So I get like in that moment it made like a good amount of sense, because if they got the proto Geshats and they had access to the souls that were lost, then they can get Hero back, and that would actually be a really good game for the good guys.
No, I get it, but like what gives me pause is when he was resurrected, how did he get, like, did he have the wherewithal to realize the situation he was in order to make it work in his favor? Or was he reprogrammed, and that's when he kind of made sense of everything?
I don't know, because like if he was reprogrammed, I feel like that would be an unnecessary thing that we would have to go through, because we all know how Emu's just gonna solve that.
No, exactly. Like he did try to reprogram him, remember?
Yeah.
That's what happened the episode before, when that glorious kick. That foot was sent flying right into Emu's face, and we all cheered.
Yeah, that was awkward. So, I mean, the twist also happened really fast. It's not like it had any repercussions whatsoever. It's not like him being on the bad guy's side actually cost the group anything. Just like, oh, we already lost him, and now we're just on their side. And I guess like the numbers are more even. That's cool. That's about it. Also, just smacked the shit out of Emu that one time, but I guess like Emu was like faking that defeat, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
Also, Hyper Muteki, I feel like that form does not belong in this series. Like, really,
it takes some pretty good design cues from, like, it took what was good about the regular X-Aid suits and made it better.
I don't like the long hair. Like, I understand, like, his base form has the long hair, and they just kind of just, like, went, full final form on it, like Super Saiyan 3 and shit.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But
hey there. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you take that form and you say, what is the gimmick for this series? You wouldn't know what it is. Honestly, it's just.
I mean, it's Geshats, right? I mean, no. I mean, like, where? How would you lose that? Where? In what way did you lose that was the gimmick? Unless you mean like video games in general.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, but it has something to do. You know what? You're right. It had to be explained to us.
It's just like a random form where he's like.
It makes sense in context, but without it, it doesn't scream video game.
Yeah, like the form itself it looks good, but it doesn't feel like it fits X8 like it should, because this is the final form for the series. It should at least like kind of belong to the series and not just be like a separate form that looks good, Right. Like that was like my main gripe with it, but because like when he stands next to the other writers, like we'll see that like in the next episode a lot more, but he seems like a crossover writer or something. I mean, the eyes are the same, but like that's about it. It just
yeah,
so different.
It is. It doesn't even have, like, is he so special that he doesn't have the indicator on his chest telling you when he's gonna die? I guess Hero's new form doesn't have that either. Was that introduced this episode?
I don't think an invincible form needs a life bar, dude.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that this episode.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to episode 37, which pretty much gashats on all of the rules kind of established in 36. Or a lot of the meaning of 36 as well.
Yeah, like
it does good things. It does good things, but it really makes me tilt my head at some of the decisions they made.
Yeah, like while we're still on the topic of Hyper Muteki, when Emu transformed into it without using Pallid, it's just like, that's kind of why I was kind of like questioning, wait, what's the point of him being a Tensei Gamer Emu if he can just do it by himself? Like, was there like a code to crack when henching? It doesn't look like there is.
I know, or like, did it only have to be the first time to unlock it or something? Because it has been used before. I don't understand, and they didn't say anything about it, and suddenly, like, and the stakes are now, if Pallad dies, then Emu can't transform anymore? Has that been the case? I mean, like, Pallad separated himself entirely from Emu, and Emu was still able to transform.
Well, I think Emu still has the Buck's virus, right?
No, he separated himself, right? That has to be it. And he... Right?
I mean, I think, like, the Bugster separated himself from Emu, but I think he still has, like, the virus or something like that.
Honestly, like,
because he's not a normal human, right?
Right. But, like, while this may just be us not paying enough attention, I feel like it also serves to it really reflects how, I don't know about inconsistent, just at least, like, nondescript the portrayal of these powers, his abilities, and the sort of rules of this show are. How kind of nebulous they seem to be. Like, if they're not clearly defined, then you get confusion like this. And I feel like if they were more clearly defined and we could play by them, it would make sense. A lot of the jumps that at least I haven't liked in these past few episodes are because they didn't seem like established rules.
I don't know. I feel like in the long run, I'm okay with it being a little more loose because, like, the target audience for them, it shouldn't matter as much. So I'm totally fine with that. It's just when it happens, like the next episode, it's just like, come on, like, I know you have to get through this one plot where, like, if you kill Pallid, then you can't do Hyper Muteki. Why does he have to be in Hyper Muteki the moment this plot starts? Why couldn't he be like the level 100 one, right?
Oh no, 99
or 99.
Yeah, like he friggin' like goes up to this samurai guy and just murders him. Just wipes the floor with him. That poor guy.
That's terrible. What? It's like Gaim going in his final form against, like, one little bug looking.
Oh yeah.
What they call Inves?
Inves, yeah.
It was horrible to see.
Yeah,
I had to look away at, like, the final beatdown he gave him.
Yeah, and, like, for whatever reason, it took so much time for him to, like, actually defeat him. Probably because the driver is shouting at you all the time, and the effects are just blaring in your face,
which I actually liked. I don't know.
Really,
I've grown to.
The new sounds for this form are pretty great. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a mix between the coin sound in Mario plus Kamen Rider Bravo's guitar riff.
Oh,
really?
I didn't notice that.
Oh, I thought I heard it. It was a neat mixing of those sounds to create that jingle. I thought that was really cool. It sounded great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, for the Hyper Muteki form, is that if they just showed what's the video game that X8's based off of? It's like
Mighty Action X.
Yeah, if they showed like a little, cartoon version of that character, like getting the invincibility mode and just like transforming into something that looks like that, I'll probably be like a little, okay.
Yeah,
with the
like
form.
or even see bits of that game itself, like Hyper Muteki's game.
Yeah, just so I can get like a connection towards it.
Yeah.
Like we see with Tattle Legacy, I mean, that looks basically the same as all the other forms he's had.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't.
You're right. It really, because they change nothing about the base suit, but for Emu's, it changes just about everything.
Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's not that I don't like it, and neither do you. It's just there's no continuity between those forms outside of the eyes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Taka this episode, because I really liked him. I really liked it. How like and we got to see a little bit of it earlier on with him sort of like holding Emu back and kind of letting Brave do his thing, because he's felt so much pain and remorse for not being able to save Saki, and that's just compounded on this episode. I feel like the better story really lies with its side characters. X8's just not as compelling as these two.
Yeah, because like their past is like so like intertwined, and like that tension is like always sort of there. Like it's not always in like the forefront, but like whenever like the situation comes up, it like so does some of like their past problems, and like it's something that they can't like really solve easily. They're desperately like trying to, but they can't, and it's
and that's why it sucks, like juxtaposed with Emu, right? Who's just like walking through all of his problems.
Does he even have problems? Like,
no,
barely.
Not really.
But
and like even despite their past together, and despite like all the hate that you, or the contempt that you kind of see brewing, there is still that underlying sense of camaraderie that I really want to see explored between the two of them. I want to see them finally make amends and get together and basically kick Emu out of the story and build their own.
That's asking for a bit too much. A little bit of salt there too. But yeah, in that one fight scene, I think like you had a point like last time where what makes like good drama is like when a person has to choose between like things that they're important to him, and in that fight you could see him like
the struggle was there.
Yeah, he can be Palad, but if he does, then he might lose his friend. Like he sees like Snipe get his ass handed to him, like he even like loses his like form, and he's just like, oh shoot, like no, stop. Like he wants to do like his thing and like get his girlfriend back. But
and it even extends to his camaraderie with Snipe. Like there was also that struggle of like him not liking Sniper, or Snipe. For some reason his name sounds so weird. Yeah, Snipe. But then ultimately, like, you know, the struggle of liking him as a person just isn't there anymore. He's straight up, like, we know he cares. He cares for this guy, and like even on top of that, he cares about being a doctor, which I mean, we'll dive into that more in the next episode.
Yeah.
But like we saw the struggle with him not being able to kill Emu, right? Because he has to save people, and that's just not what a doctor does.
Yeah, and his girlfriend is like constantly reminding him to be the best doctor in the world. So,
jeez.
I mean, if he gets rid of the Bugster instead of Emu, that's better, right?
Yeah, yeah. But like, I yeah, we already touched on how weirdly absurd it is that killing Palad somehow gets rid of Emu's powers. What was the tension there? It was confusing, and I was more swept up by Snipe and Brave's story.
Yeah, but I did like the whole tie-in. It's just the whole Emu going into Hyper Muteki without Palad is kind of like throwing it a bit off. Like, if they couldn't go into Hyper Muteki because Palad wasn't there, and they have to go save him before, Brave kills him, then that would be like a lot better,
Yeah.
But then again, Emu needs to be in Hyper Muteki to force Kronos to say that, or else Kronos just beats him.
Like, it would have been cool to see them take a risk and actually kill Palad off now.
Yeah, like, I actually thought that's where they were going, because they forced like Emu to kind of like step up to that Tensai gamer like status.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that didn't really happen, because we got to focus on like the whole, at least this episode, because we got to focus on Taiga and Brave, and we do get to see like a glimpse into like Hiro's character a bit more, because the person who's in the CR room in like the first bit of the episode was Saki's father. Right. And he tells like Hiro's father that
hey, can you tell your son not to come by anymore? He keeps coming on the anniversary of our daughter's death, and it's kind of creepy. We really don't want to be reminded of it. We can't move on, and it's mainly because of him. He shows up, he sort of just eats our cake all the time.
Yeah. It's like that day every month. I mean, it sounds like he's pestering them, but it also shows like how hung up he is on the past.
Yeah.
It's just like, it sucks, And like, I think we got to see like another flashback about like when he was studying to be a doctor, and he would kind of ignore Saki at times. So like, his feelings of regret are like definitely there.
Right. Yeah. But like, also, it kind of sucks that Saki basically has no character outside of being a plot point.
I don't think she needs to be like a fully fleshed character, because she wasn't alive during the events of this series.
That's true. Yeah. All right. But honestly, like, she just serves as motivation for Hiro. There's like, when Saki comes back, yay, Hiro's gonna be happy. Like, it feels like she's just a goal to, a trophy to win. And I don't understand, like, I don't know what's her story, right? I kind of want to know more about her. What else she left behind outside of her parents?
I don't know. I feel like if she comes back, then we'll get that information when she comes back. Like, it'll be like the setup for that. Yeah. My problem with that is like we're nearing towards the end of the series, and like having a secondary character get a backstory like during the finale isn't really appropriate. But I feel like Saki isn't gonna come back. And
well, no, like, the easiest way that they could have done that is to make the dad like a baker, right? And then have him say that she enjoyed baking and she wanted to share that with Brave. And I mean, it'd be like the simplest thing, the simplest little thing, and you could have seeded it throughout the show, and I don't know why they just didn't. And I just came up with that. Like,
I don't know. It doesn't seem like too necessary though.
it would have added a little bit more depth to at least Saki's character. Why it's. I only want her back for Brave's sake, not for the sake of having Saki back. Like, having her be like losing her as a person, it doesn't feel like we've lost much. Like from the stance of the viewer, the audience. Like, if she comes back at all, or if Hiro decides not to bring her back because of his code as a doctor to not mess with that, you know, because that they did grapple with that for a few episodes. Either way, it wouldn't matter. Like, I don't care if she comes back or not. Like, I'm fine with the story either way because I feel like they can pull that off. But if they incentivized me with some Saki backstory, then I would be like, okay, hey, I really want to see Saki come back.
Yeah, and like if you don't get that, then like the loss feels a bit harder.
Exactly.
But I don't know, like the way I see it is like because they kind of like they don't give us too much information about like Saki. It's kind of like this whole theoretical like this happiness that doesn't really exist, right?
Oh, yeah, some nebulous sort of.
And like that's kind of like how it is. Like if you do bring back someone from the dead, you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
I kind of like this whole like mysterious this like lack of information is kind of making it feel not real, right? Because it's not like he has Saki back. Like it's something where Kronos is kind of like manipulating the game to bring her back and like bring back her consciousness. She might come back as like a bugster, which we don't even know how like what kind of repercussions that has. You know?
Yeah, no, I get it in terms of like motivating Brave. Like, I understand that. But in terms of from where I'm standing, I don't have any incentive to want to see her back. Like, I get Brave's understanding, and I also understand that like the idealization of having someone back. I get it. And I can already see that with Brave. All you need to do is dangle the recording on a loop in front of him. That's it. And to have that lifeless version of her dangled in front of him, I feel like that was enough. Because honestly, there's not much of a difference between that hologram and Saki as, you know, just regular Saki.
But who knows? That's kind of like
who know we don't, and that's why I have a problem because like we don't know much about her.
That's kind of like why I'm okay with it because
we
don't know. It's not like a real thing. It's something like.
But if it feels so real to the characters, I want to know why. Like, why did he like her in the first place? Right, just because she gave him the time of day. What was his motivation to fall in love with her?
I don't think we need that type of information. That's a bit like too much, especially for like a kids show. It's like I mean, think about common writer relationships. I mean, besides like Drive, which kind of was like flesh out the entire damn series, some of them just happen instantly. And I'm just like,
well,
okay.
But is it so bad that I want better from this? Like, is it? I don't want to like take my expectations down a peg just because I'm watching this show. Like, I understand, you know, it's Toku, but Toku's done better, and I want more from it. Again, this is like one of the smallest missteps of the show, so I suppose this is more of a nitpick in itself. But
hey, I don't think it's a misstep. That's
really,
yeah. I feel like
okay. No, I get why.
I feel like it's more of like a choice that they chose to keep this in mystery because they can easily do a back story for like a character like this. It won't even take that long, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of like keeping us in the dark, and like if like the fans really want to see Saki back, then I might like pressure them to kind of like force Saki back, and I don't really want that. Just like we don't know, and hell, Enmu doesn't even know, and I kind of like like that kind of perspective. It's just like because we get Emu's perspective on Hiro's problem. Like we don't.
Emma's perspective is like, maybe not, but I'll let you keep going, I guess. Like, that was it. That was that at first, and now he's like, now I gotta stop you.
Yeah. But, like, and it's also kind of like Taiga's perspective, too, because he doesn't really, he does know more than Emu about, like, their relationship, but he's still, like, a doctor. He's kind of, like, separated from it. And
he's a licenseless doctor, so I don't know if he actually is one.
Well, he's still a doctor. But I kind of prefer this whole, like, outside perspective thing, because, like, if we're inside, you know, if we have Brave's, like, perspective, then we're all gonna, like, want, like, Saki be back, right?
Right.
And if we don't have that, like, kind of bias, then it kind of, like, puts it in, like, the air. Like, is it worth to have someone back at the cost of all your friends or something like that? It just...
Okay, but like,
it's
if
like
you characterize her and you take that away, if you take her away, wouldn't that hit a lot harder? Wouldn't that be more meaningful in terms of a narrative? Like, again, either way, if she lives or dies, wouldn't that just be, you know, it would be more emotionally resonant.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like the emotions that they want us to feel, you know? It's not supposed to be like a super personal thing. And also they're trying
No, it's supposed to be a super personal thing because we need to, like, I understand Brave's motivation, but I want to know where it stemmed from, right? Why he wants her back so much.
I think we already I think they've already given us that answer because the answer for that question is kind of like he regretted not like spending time with her and all that stuff. Like we don't need the origins of their like romance. We might get it though.
It's not. That's not what I'm asking though. I'm asking for small little things to at least give her some character, or at least give us some secondhand knowledge about her.
Kind of like, oh, I kind of get what you're talking about. Like stakes. So like, if we kind of like get Saki back, we earn something, and if we don't, we lose.
Not just that. It's like, if you want a person back, right? Say one of our friends died. We want them back. It's not just a matter of, oh man, I like having them around. It's because they mean something to us. What initially sparked that meaning, that interest in that person? Or not initially, but like, what about them is it, like, what about them did you want back? What made them so important to you that you need them back outside of, man, I really missed that opportunity. Wish I had it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of leaning towards that because as much as I kind of like this whole like perspective from Emu's perspective on this problem.
Do you like Emu's perspective?
No, because like, you know, an outside perspective, like just imagine like if your friend is dealing with a problem like this, you know, like if you have this perspective, it's a bit more relatable in that sense. But I prefer,
I wouldn't say a friend, but like viewing this story outside in. Yeah.
No, like if a friend is like kind of suffering from this problem and you yourself don't really know, then it's a problem you can relate to in that kind of respect. But I prefer Hiro as a character much more than Emu, and I want to like feel his pain. So like I'm just like, I was just kind of like playing devil's advocate because like I'm saying like like their absence of information could be on purpose and it could show something different. But the stuff Hiro is showing us right now,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to know.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And he honestly
there's certainly something to be said for that perspective, but I don't know if that is like if that's the right decision to make. Like I don't know, like even if it's the intent of it, like just because like if you say, I don't know, that table is only has 3 legs, that's horrible. Oh, it's made that way. Oh, okay, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. If it's made to be that way and it's not as good as it could be, then why would I be okay with it? Why should I be okay with it? Why should I be okay with a not as good product?
Yeah, like why not go that extra mile? I mean,
exactly, of putting on a fourth a fourth leg on a table, yeah.
Or do what Brave did and just run that extra mile literally at the end of the episode.
The end of the episode was shot pretty well. And it really it was really indicative of the Q Ranger episode that we just watched. Shameless plug. That it really touched on what was good about the framing of sacrificial scenes, like where you place your characters, what you show the audience, and how you compose the shot. It was really beautiful to see.
The reason I really like this final scene was how like they didn't make it like super gaudy. It was just It kind of felt like a bit like bare bones. Like there wasn't really like much, not like special effects, but they didn't really do like any like real fancy camera shots.
Oh yeah, yeah. They didn't do that whole 1 minute of Emu sliding across the screen, and then was it laser sliding across the screen, and then like match cut and fade and
yeah, it's just like
that mess.
Yo, Tiger's dead, and then like they just like show everyone in that scene. You kind of like see him in the back, just kind of like dead, and like the kind of like realization is like, oh shit, like our friend is like dying right now. Like that's the feel I got from that scene, and I was like,
they really let the emotions play out and carry the scene, and they did this when Laser initially died, which I loved. So in terms of character deaths, they at least shoot it very well. They don't. They execute it pretty well too, and then bringing them back, it's gonna happen, right?
Actually,
but
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, because well, that's from like the preview for next episode. We still
no. I mean, like for Laser.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Like it's it's all probably for marketing. Right, they need to sell those toys, and they needed to sell the Proto Gashat for him, so obviously he had to come back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know in what other way they could have used it without putting someone in a suit.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know, like the way they do it, the way they perform it, like that coming back has been so overdone. But I feel like in this next episode, again, if you haven't watched the previews for the next episode, think the show's over for you. So leave now. You got 3, 2, 1. It looks like Hero's gonna be performing surgery on, or they're at least gonna try to bring him to do surgery on Snipe, which honestly is one of the they're putting together the characters that I most wanted to see in a very meaningful story.
Yeah, and also Cronus's like shoot. What is that word? Oh, ultimatum. Where
okay, yeah.
If he saves Snipe, then he loses his girlfriend. Just like straight up. Like we will get results that episode. Hopefully.
Yeah, and like you have the struggle, right? You have the struggle that makes good drama. Either save a life, and not only a life, the person who is ostensibly your friend or someone you care for, you've come to realize that you care for so much, or a girlfriend that might be able to come back, like, you know, someone who's already dead wanting to live in the past. And like Snipe can say whatever about building a future with Saki, but again, it's still living in the past, someone that's already dead or moving forward into the future with a friend.
Yeah, but
and I feel like that really, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and honestly, Snipe was fine with him dying for Saki's sake. Because he regrets that so much. Like, that's why he's, like, always sort of on Brave's side. Like, usually he's, like, you know, at odds with him because, you know, he has that ego and everything. But when it comes to this...
No,
like,
and I feel like it was also that wall he put up between the two just so that he could hate him more.
Yeah.
And to have it come down and just to have these two... You know, there's a point where I want to see them respect each other and work together.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't normally look forward to X8 episodes, but since it's not focused on X8, I'm very excited. It's gonna be a meaty episode.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. Anyways, guys, I think that just about wraps up our... How long was this conversation?
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, this is way longer than the 2 episodes combined. Guys, that's just about it. If you liked this episode, we really dove deep. Hit that like button. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought of these past 2 episodes. Obviously, it gave us a lot to talk about, so why not talk about it some more? Also, subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. All the links to our social medias are in the description down below, along with our Discord chat, so hit that link and talk with us there as well. Anyways, guys, that just about does it. Thanks for listening. See ya.
Bye.